Now, are traders in the United States profiting illegally from Washington's war against Iran? Media and industry observers say that might just be the case. They point to major spikes in trades on stocks and commodities markets, hours, or in some cases, minutes before President Trump makes major announcements. The well-timed buys netted the traders millions in profits, which experts say indicates they must have had inside information. Such insider trading is, of course, illegal. So let's examine this with Joshua Mitz, who is a professor of law at Columbia Law School. He has a particular interest in trading on capital markets and statistical analysis and joins us from New York City. Welcome to DW. First of all, tell us more about what's been going on during this US-Iran war, because these seem like eye-watering sums of money.
Well, thanks for having me. We've definitely seen, as you noted, across a number of markets, from commodities markets, oil futures, to prediction markets, which have emerged as a kind of new betting landscape. We've seen these sorts of very, very well-timed trades, sometimes just minutes before an announcement or hours, in which unknown individuals have made sometimes on the order of millions of dollars, as you pointed out. And across these markets, it's added up to tens of millions of dollars, if not more than that, over events which have moved markets dramatically. So someone is profiting off of this trading.
And to be clear, if that someone is someone within government, if that someone within government knows about a coming announcement from the president or from the Pentagon, an announcement that, as you say, can move markets, then that's a definite no-no.
It's definitely illegal for government insiders to trade or to give information to others so that they could trade, especially if that information is classified. It's a little bit harder to tell where this information is coming from. Some of these markets, we just observed the trade. We don't know who got the information and who they got it from. So piecing all the pieces of the puzzle together to make a criminal case is non-trivial. It's quite a challenge for prosecutors.
Right, so it's not just a case of just following the money backwards. This amount of money was made on these stocks. Who sold them? Who do they know in the White House or the Pentagon?
You have to follow not only the money backwards, you have to follow the information backwards. Where did the information come from? And who, let's say, in the president's inner circle or in the inner circle of another nation's state, leaked the information? And at this point, based on what we can observe in the data, we just don't know who the leaker is.
So are there active investigations going on in the United States at the moment into this sort of shenanigans?
We've heard federal prosecutors announce that this is going to be an area of priority for criminal prosecutions and investigations, and we've seen U.S. regulators turn up the heat. We really have to think about this, though, as a global problem. We don't even know that these traders, particularly in some of these prediction markets around the world, are in the United States. They could be in any one of the jurisdictions in which folks have access to the internet and access to crypto markets. So it's really a global problem that necessitates a global response.
But if we look at the swirl of allegations and corruption allegations surrounding this White House, one wonders how robustly US authorities are likely to investigate people who may or may not be closely connected to a notoriously vengeful and litigious administration.
Well, I think you're absolutely right that political pressure is always a challenge whenever one is looking at getting to the facts and getting to the truth. But I happen to know that there are a number of great prosecutors out there who are set on figuring out what happened. I think the challenge here is that the actual work of digging out who talked to who and who was texting who and who was in touch with who is just a lot more challenging than it seems. And so I would suspect that the individuals involved in this sort of trading will probably go undetected for quite some time.
All that said, I have to ask how new any of this is. There are a couple of apps out there that have been out there for a couple of years that allow people to follow the trades made by certain members of Congress who seem to have accumulated fortunes during their time in the legislature. So, this is more spectacular, but the suspicion is this has been going on for yonks.
That's right, and it's a problem we have yet to solve. It's also a problem with quite scary implications when you start to think that potentially, if any of these decision makers are actually involved in this trading, it could affect the decisions that they make. If you have a large enough bet on some of these markets, is that affecting how you're deciding which steps to take and what to say to the press, what to say to the public? So the potential for corruption here is quite real and maybe on a scale that we had not seen before.
OK, it's an interesting point, because betting aside, what we have seen over the past couple of weeks is President Trump coming out with statements about negotiations. We've almost got a deal is coming, where the Iranians have said, I don't know what you're talking about, which people say he has said in order to calm the markets. So he's trying to make the market himself without necessarily betting on it. But, as you say, it works both ways.
It absolutely does. And there's a dangerous mix of money and politics here that we have to be careful as a society. And this is a message not to one political party, but to all global leaders, to be thoughtful and cautious before making statements that can move the market. The potential for corruption means that those statements should be made by individuals who have the public interest in mind, and only the public interest in mind, not those who are looking to profit and make money off of swings in the market.
Except that people who are making market-moving statements already know that, don't they? They already know what the rules are.
They do. And so the question is whether we have a problem of rules or a problem of culture. And we've seen, particularly in the post-COVID era, the rise of crypto and meme stocks. Betting and gambling have just become more and more accepted in our society. And so the question we should really ask ourselves is, what kind of society is emerging in which betting and gambling at this scale is accepted common practice? It might be innocent, harmless fun when it's you or me, but when it involves our public servants, the potential for corruption and for making bad decisions that are not in the public interest should worry us all.
Good talking to you, Professor. That's very clear. Thank you. Professor Joshua Mitz from Columbia Law School.
Thank you.